What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another H&K video game experience. Hollywood Cole here with Clearfire.
What's going on, guys?
Bringing you another video game entertainment revolution, as we can call it that, I suppose. But I'm still enjoying it, man. What about you?
I'm having fun doing it. I want to keep doing it, and hope everybody keeps listening. That's what's keeping us going, is the listeners.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And just getting on there and seeing, 10 downloads today, 2 or 3 some days. I mean, dude, that's great. If anybody's listening to it, I'm happy, man. So
I like seeing those spike days. Those spike days get me pumped up.
Absolutely. We appreciate you guys for sure. So today we're going to talk about Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter World, yeah.
I always want to call it Dragon Warrior or something. I don't know why, but because it's got a bunch of dragons in it.
I always want to call it Monster World Hunter. Change the words around. So I always do that. And I'm bad about transposing stuff. I have a little bit of numbers dyslexia. So like when I read numbers, I always read them backwards and I always repeat them backwards. And sometimes it takes over in my speech a little bit too.
Well, so we want to talk about, get a little group hug going here, try to catch up. We haven't talked in a couple weeks. We'll do that, and then we're going to jump into some news with Clear, whatever's in the news lately, and then just get into Monster Hunter. We're going to release the SNES Classic Mini winner today. I got the numbers tallied up. We're going to put it in a random number generator right here on the podcast, and as if we were live, and then we will find that number. That's the one I'll go to on Excel, and hopefully it's a name that I can read on the air, because some of you guys got some crazy names.
Yes, you do.
But wow. We'll reach out to that person, and once we have announced that, and we want to try to reach out to that person and give them a day or two, probably we'll say 48 hours to respond, and if not, we'll roll it again, man.
Mm-hmm.
And keep it going that way.
Yeah, you got to respond to win.
So that's on our agenda. So kind of the group hug here. I wanted to just tell you, Clear, that I'm going to go ahead and end the other contest that we had. Nobody responded to it, so everybody missed out on a great opportunity to get a video game. And I found a second question too. So let me reiterate the contest. The contest was, we actually announced it on our Metal Gear episode. I believe that was episode 15. So that would be 5 episodes ago. And so over a month ago, and said, if any of you guys can find a question that Clearfire asked, just any question, I'll send you guys a free game. So I'm going to go ahead and end that, since we hadn't gotten any responses on it. And I'll post it on Facebook too, that we ended it, in case somebody's still looking for it. By now, people are probably like, somebody's already gotten that, because it's been over a month, but nobody actually did. So if you hear these things, look for it and ask on Facebook. Yep. We'll tell you, but or Twitter or whatever. But one of the questions you asked was in the Super Mario Brothers 2 episode, where you were talking about Mega Man, and you asked what was the dog's name, which was Rush. So you said, what was his dog's name? Okay, so that's the one. And then, and I didn't go back and listen to all of them. There may be more than this. But then you asked another one in one of the retro reviews. So that was episode 3 or 4. I can't remember which one it was, but I think it was probably the first one. So episode 3. So we're going to end that there. But just keep listening, guys. I mean, I got another contest already in the works. So I'm going to drop it at any random time. And this is going to be a little bit easier. In fact, if you've been listening to the podcast, you might be able to answer the question immediately. You don't have to go back and listen to the other ones. But it's just fun. I like giving stuff away. And we certainly will have more contests after this NES Mini. And we'll have to come to agreement on what that'll be. But anyway, just know that that's going to be out there soon. So just stay tuned. But anyway, so what's been going on, dude? I hadn't talked to you. I've talked to you, but we hadn't really sat down and chopped it up for a while.
Yeah, well, we haven't talked on the phone because I've had no voice for the past almost 2 weeks, it seems like. So yeah, I've kind of been under the weather, sick. It's that time of year that I always start getting sick, allergies, the good old seasonal allergies. Here in Mississippi, the pine trees are dropping their pollen, making people sick. We're actually right now under a tornado watch, possible tornado warning soon. That's how crazy our weather is. We were in the mid-70s today. Tomorrow, I think we're going to be in the mid-60s, and then by Wednesday, we're going to be in the mid-50s. So we're just dropping temp all week long. and it's just wreaking havoc on me being sick, getting me sick. So I'll probably get sick again this week. It's horrible, man. It's just terrible.
Yeah, people have been getting sick over here too. My son came into the room the other night at like 1 a.m. going, this weird barking, breathing sound. This actually I had to look it up, and I had to text Dre. Dre's a friend of ours who's a doctor, and he actually writes all the songs too, or at least a majority of them. But and say, dude, this is going. What is this? It was like 1 a.m. I didn't text him then. I just looked it up, and he had like the croup or something.
Yeah.
And so it just went away. So there's nothing you can really do about it. It's just like a little cold, but it just kind of messes up their airways, makes it sound terrible. I mean, he's only 5 years old. It's kind of worrisome. I was looking up 24-hour emergency rooms or whatever that were not across the bridge over there 30 minutes away or so. It's not that far, but anyway, just something local. But we didn't have to do anything, thank God. My wife lost her voice a couple days ago too. Was gone for 2 days, just out of the blue. Didn't start getting scratchy or anything. Just woke up one day, it was gone. It came back too, like 2 days later. So there's definitely something. I got a tickle in my throat too. So I mean, it's just crazy.
I mean, my throat's still all scratchy and everything, and it's going to be like that for probably quite a while now. So, but at least I'm back to where I can somewhat breathe and somewhat talk. So that's good.
Let's go ahead and jump to the news, dude. Have you been?
As you can probably tell, on the Facebook, on our Facebook page for H&K, I haven't been posting a lot lately. It's just mainly because I've been sick, laying in the bed, not doing anything but laying in the bed. So, I've kind of let Facebook slide to the side, but also too, it was a good way for us to kind of take a break once the contest ended, and just gave us a breather room to kind of calculate all the entries and everything. So that was kind of in a way, an indirect way to kind of give us a breathing room. But as far as news goes, something that was interesting that I did see in the news just recently is they actually have plans to end the free video games for the PlayStation Vita and PS3 by March of 2019. So that means they're gonna take the free PS Plus games away from those two systems by March 2019. Now,
Sony hates the Vita, man. They didn't even market it correctly, for whatever reason it failed. The system is awesome.
Yeah, they definitely let that one fall by the wayside. But what they are doing is you'll still be able to play the games that you have downloaded or have in your library, as long as you're a PS Plus member. So you're not going to lose the games that you've already downloaded or tried to put in your library. You just won't be able to get any new ones. Speaking of the games too, I want to double check and make sure I'm telling you right, but they look like we have 2 really good games coming out in March. It's March now for PS Plus. So if you're a PS Plus member, PlayStation player, me and Hollywood are PlayStation players. We left Xbox behind from the 360 to the One series. But from what I'm reading, it looks like we are going to have, I thought I saw Bloodborne on there, and what was the other one? Ratchet and Clank.
Oh, I think it's already gone. I saw Coach playing Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
What's Ratchet and Clank, is it? If you said it, I don't know which one it was.
I'm not sure
which one it was.
And that might have been last week.
It may be what's out now. They stay out for like 2 weeks or something. They stay out a while.
Yeah, I saw that, and that was pretty awesome. Now they might have changed it.
Yeah, they've been doing good with that. I hate that the Vita is going to lose theirs, though.
Yeah, the Vita's going to lose theirs.
And I don't really like that you got to be a PlayStation Plus member to play games you've already downloaded. I guess if they're giving them away for free, yeah. But if I bought the game, I should be able to play it. And you may still be able to. Like I got Final Fantasy VIII on my Vita, and I bought that one. So am I going to be able to play that? If I'm not a PlayStation Plus member.
Now if you bought it, you'll be able to play it, but you won't be able to play anything that you downloaded for free. Like the free games that were offered, you won't be able to play those. So
fair enough.
So they're not taking away the PS Plus membership from it. They're just taking the free games that they offer each month from it.
Yeah, but if I decided to not be a PlayStation Plus member, am I going to be able to play those ones I bought? That was the question. But I think certainly so.
Oh, no. You'll be able to play any game that you bought because they don't consider that a part of PlayStation Plus. The only thing that's included in PlayStation Plus is online multiplayer and the PS Plus free games that are given out. If you get rid of your PS Plus membership, then you'll lose your ability to play online multiplayer and those free games.
Okay.
But yes, it is Bloodborne and Ratchet and Clank that will be out starting. They say until March 6th for the last games, and that was Knack, and I forgot the other one. But Bloodborne and Ratchet and Clank are the free ones that'll start up March 8th. So you're looking at, March 7th. So, like they said, March 8th of 2019 to be exactly, no more free titles for the PS3 and Vitas. So it won't affect anything you've already downloaded. It'll all remain free as long as you keep your Plus subscription. So the PS4 games that are out right now, if you haven't downloaded them yet, are Knack, Rhyme, and Grand Kingdom. Knack is supposed to be a pretty fun game. I never played it, but I know some people that did. But Bloodborne and Ratchet and Clank are your PS4 games for the month of March, which is an amazing drop. I've never played Bloodborne, but looks like I got me another game to play because that's free. And then Ratchet and Clank, I played it on PS2, and they're fun little games. If you just want a fun little game to play, it's great.
Yeah, Bloodborne has got a good... I've heard good things about that, and Ratchet and Clank, too. Mm-hmm. So I'll be excited about those. I still got the Deus Ex Mankind Divided, I think. I hadn't played that yet. I mean, I've been killing the Metal Gear Phantom Pain. That was free at one point. I really enjoyed that one. That's got a lot of gameplay involved. So I'm hoping the Deus Ex will be good, but I don't know. It got good reviews, but we'll see.
Deus Ex is supposed to be pretty good. So
what else you got in the news? Anything else?
Well, Monster Hunter World has now become the best-selling game in Capcom's history.
Wow. That's awesome.
7.5 million units worldwide. That's including downloads as well. So that's a big number for Capcom, and hopefully that gives them the push to put more DLC content into Monster Hunter World. I know that there was a rumor sheet that went around some of the groups that had this just crazy long list of DLC stuff. Turned out to be just a guy's wish list. But if that kind of stuff... it was crazy. It was just a big rumor and everything.
Just a guy's wish list.
That's basically what it came down to. If you go down and check out the groups, that's what they say. It's just a dude's wish list. But if you go and check it out, it's like an amazing wish list because it's basically got DLC hitting every single month. Big stuff, little stuff, a lot of fun things. I mean, there was... They even had it wasn't a DLC, but it's a limited time event that they have going on right now. I think it ends like tomorrow or something like that. It's one of their weekly events. It's called Wiggle Me This, where if you collect 10 Wigglers in the quest, you can get the tickets to make a Wiggler helmet. So you can have that Wiggler helmet on. It's funny looking. It's hilarious.
A Medusa helmet or something.
Yeah, kind of
Medusa head.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a snake that when you start running around, the head just start bobbling all over the place. It's hilarious. So, I did the quest. I didn't make the head yet because I've got to get one more piece, but I can get it from something else. I got the ticket to make it, so I'm good on that. Also, too, the Aloy, I hope I'm saying her name right. It's from the Horizon Zero Dawn. That quest is still active right now. That's active until I want to say March 15th on Monster Hunter World. And that's another tie-in from another game on PS4 side, Horizon Zero Dawn, where you can actually get the armor and the bow to look exactly like Aloy, or Aloy is what I was told, from Horizon Zero Dawn, the main character. So it's pretty neat. It's not high-level armor, but it is just fun kind of nostalgia kind of thing. And it was fun just beating the thing. I had to beat like Anjanath a bunch of times, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I hate fighting Anjanath now. I mean, it's crazy. But it was a neat thing because earlier when Monster Hunter World first released, they had the event where you could get the Horizon Zero Dawn armor to make your Palico look like a little robot cat. So that was pretty cool. I got that and got the whole matching set. So, it's fun things like that I hope that Capcom keeps on pushing for that game. They even did... They've done it in a small batch where if you had a save of Street Fighter V on your PS4, that you could get a Ryu armor set. So they're going to release that eventually for the PS4 and Xbox wide release, so you can all get it. But they're adding little things like that, and I think that's great. And there was also too, it's not really a rumor; it's just nobody knows when you will be able to get a 8-bit set of armor for your Palico to make it look like Mega Man. So they're doing really cool stuff. They're doing really cool stuff and really fun stuff like that. And I think that is what's going to draw me and keep me going back to this game, because it's just a lot of fun doing that kind of stuff. If Capcom keeps on selling games like this, we're going to have a good chance of having a nice long run of this type of game like Monster Hunter World, which is just a really fun game, and we're going to talk more about it later. So, sorry I'm jumping all over that now, but that's just one big piece in the news. So,
well, you see, it's like Capcom is doing. I'm just trying, like Nintendo, obviously a console maker, but they have Mario, Link. You can name it, Nintendo, Donkey Kong, whatever. So they got their little franchise characters. Just look at Super Smash Bros. Somewhere. Yeah. It's like Capcom is trying to get that established kind of thing as well. Like, just integrating all of their games, somehow putting Easter eggs in there. They even have Dark Souls Easter egg in, what is it, Rotten Vale, I think. I don't remember. One of the worlds you can go to, they have a Easter egg for Dark Souls, I believe that's the name of it. I can't remember now. I got to look up and make sure Dark Souls is that Capcom.
It's Dark Souls, because a lot of people compare Monster Hunter World to Dark Souls 3, and so okay. Yeah, it's a thing for Dark Souls. I don't know where it is. I haven't gone look for it because I never was a Dark Souls player, but I might go back and actually play it because it sounds like it might be a fun game to play. Yeah,
it's very difficult. I mean, it's a super difficult game, and it's just a lot of strategy and stuff you gotta do. Yeah, it doesn't say Bandai, Namco and Bandai. I don't know if that's some kind of subsidiary or what for Capcom, but I'm just thinking here on the spot, man. I don't need to get down this rabbit hole, but whatever the reason, they got a Easter egg in there for that. So they like to do that stuff, and that's cool. So yeah, man. I mean, Monster Hunter. I guess we'll just jump right into it. Just want to kind of give my history with the game. So I've heard about this game a long time ago, Monster Hunter in general, back in 2004. Or 5 when I was working at GameStop in Memphis, and the guy was telling me about it, and I was like, what is this about, and so you kill monsters, you cut them up, you loot the monsters, and you make better armor and stuff. He loved it. He loved the game. It's one of his favorite games. So that sounds cool, but I never touched it. Didn't touch it until I got a Wii U, and I think I got that when I got the system. I can't remember. I got the Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, I believe. That's on the Wii U. And played it solo, and really enjoyed that. And I knew that you guys would like it as well, and we'd have fun playing together, but you'd have to buy a Wii U to do it. And nobody was going to buy a Wii U. So I'm glad that Capcom has moved to the PlayStation 4, which they did release a Monster Hunter 4 for the 3DS only. And so since they did not release it for Wii U, you could tell that, hey, we're not going to they're kind of saying we're not going to waste our time on this. We probably lost money on it. But they went ahead and jumped ship, so to speak, over to the PlayStation, and it sounds like it's working out for them. Yeah. So that's really good.
7.5 million copies. That's hard to dispute working out there.
Yeah, no kidding, man. So from your first impressions of the game, when you very first got it and turned it on, what did you expect it to be, and then how what did you think about it when your very first few hunts or whatever?
So for me, this is my first Monster Hunter, and I didn't hear about it until literally either the day before or the day of that it was going to be released. It's like quasi midnight release, and so I was like, okay, I'll go check this out. I go stand in line to go get my game. I get it, no big deal. I get to play it finally. I think like that Saturday. And sit down and play it and turn it on. The first thing I realized, hey, man, this is a pretty game. It looks good. It's got some nice graphics to it, just really nice and clean. And so start playing it. One of the first thing I notice is the speech is not synced with the mouths. So I kind of chalk that up to it being English and this being a highly Japanese made game. When you watch the credits after you beat the story, you don't see an American name through those credits until they say American team, and that's a ways down too. So, but that didn't bother me. That was just one of the random things I picked up on. But visually, I mean, it's a visually impressive game. The landscapes, the details that they put in, and I mean, they've got bugs jumping around that you can throw a little net and capture. There's a whole like environment around capturing just the little bugs and little critters around the place. Not to mention, you have small monsters that you can fight, which they don't really fight back much, but, you know, you've got the little small monsters, and then you've got the big monsters. So they've got this whole huge, large ecosystem going on, and that really drawed me in, because it's like, wow, I have options and plenty of choices to do. If I decide today all I want to do is go out and look for all these little bitty monsters I can catch with my net, you know, like grasshoppers and rabbits and all this other stuff to decorate my room, I can just go do that, you know? Or if I want to go hunt small monsters, I don't want to deal with the big dragon today, I can go do that. Or I can go, I mean, it's just, it had so many options from the minute I started that it was just overwhelming. And two, I will say, this is not a game for beginners. It is definitely not one that you want to say, hey, look, here's your first game, play this. If you do that, you're going to have people go, You know, it's just one of those games that you have to be into gaming to play, because it is a very intense game. It's one of those ones that you have to play and have skill at. You can't just play it just to play it and think you're doing good. You will eventually hit walls where you can't get past, and you'll actually have to really take the time to learn the mechanics of the game. And so that's what I really like.
That's a good point. So that's a good, before we jump any further, that's what I was going to kind of to hit on. Then this game is actually a much watered down version of how it used to be. So this is a lot more beginner user friendly than the old Monster Hunters. But immediately, like you said, right when you start the options, so I don't even know the number. I mean, 20 different weapons to choose from, something like that. Roughly. So there's a lot of weapons to choose from. So, and you keep them in your inventory, and you don't have to go find them or whatever. They start you off with whatever 20 different weapons. And so, for example, I use the insect glaive. Clear uses the dual blades. There's a katana sword, there's a bow and arrow, there's a bow gun, there's a javelin, there's a sword and shield, there's great sword, axes. I mean, there's everything. They all play differently. And as Clear said, it's a skill game. So you have to learn how the mechanics of the game work, find a weapon that you like to use. Revelation was always getting upset at the game, and he was playing with the great sword. And that's not a good beginner weapon. You better know what you're doing, because that thing swings so slow. If you miss, you're just frustrated. And so I said, switch to the duels. And he switched to the duels. It's a whole different game for him. So you get that option to pick your weapon that fits your play style. And as you said, a lot of things happen. I know it kind of messed with me for a little bit. And I know it messed with Coach, Revelation. So it's probably kind of a jarring feature is the camera. There's no lock-on system. There is on this one. Like I said, it's a friendly one. You can lock on for a minute. There's no permanent lock on the monster, because the monster, depending on where you attack the monster, different things happen. The tail will fall off. Like, for instance, one of the strategies is there's a Raytheon that poisons you with his tail. Well, you chop his tail off. He can't poison you. So it's different strategies like that, but that's kind of the skill that Clear is talking about. To be able to hit that tail. It's not just, you can't just lock onto the tail. And another thing, like Clear's saying with the beginner, not a beginner game, is you are never going to out-level your next. Like a lot of times, see how to phrase this, like on any of the Final Fantasies or any other RPG, you can kind of do a bunch of side quests and all this, and then you're really, really souped up, ready to take on the next monster.
You can power level.
Yeah, and the boss is just kind of so easy because you're already kind of so maxed out. Not going to happen in this game. It will certainly help you, but if you don't know what you're doing, you will die on your next big monster, because that's the type of game it is. It is a skill-based game, which is one of the great things about it.
Well, even some monsters that I've gone back and refought after I've beat them and have even a higher hunter rank, they've still even one-shotted me then. I mean, they can do that. That's what I like about the game. You have to learn how they attack. And then, too, back to the whole camera thing, I actually like the not locking on thing. It actually has been, I got used to it pretty quick and actually like it. It kind of makes me have to adjust the camera and be more active in how I control my fight and how I control my actions. So I really like that part of the game, where I know a lot of people are like, even some people in our Destiny 2 clan that play it, they're like, oh, I can't stand this because I don't lock into the thing. I was like, it's not about locking in. It's about you basically, because that's what I like about the dual blades is it's like a dance. You've got to follow and move around and focus on the different points that you're attacking at. instead of having a lock on. Because for me, if I had a lock on, I wouldn't be able to tell what in the world I'm doing because I'm jumping around so much. So it all also depends on your playstyle, like Hollywood was saying as well too. So I mean, that's just one of the awesome features that I like about it. And two, what he was saying is this is the more watered down one. This is stuff that I've heard from the players that used to play, like the whetstone. You have to sharpen your weapons all the time because they do dull. I like that. That's pretty cool. I've never played a game with that mechanic, or at least I don't remember it off the top of my head. And so in the older versions of this game, you actually had to carry whetstones with you and they would wear out and you would have to replace your whetstones. This one, you have an unlimited whetstone. Everybody loves that. And then two, the tracking, you had to have like a little paintball marker from what I was told to mark the animal for you to do it. Well, now you have these scout flies and you actually level up your scout flies on tracking the individual monsters. So I like that whole going to level up to learn about the monsters because now you have a book that you can go look, okay, if I'm fighting this monster, I know to attack it here at its weak points and that these items are going to drop from these areas. So
yeah, that's pretty cool. The kind of basics of the game. Okay, there's a strong attack, a weak attack, a roll. So you kind of dive out of the way. You got to run. You got an item use button, and you have a little quick select wheel you can use to pull up your items. And so when you hit, this sounds so primitive to say, but this is a big deal to me, a guy that likes this kind of game. When you hit something, numbers come off of them. Yes. I love that.
I love seeing that too.
Japanese,
I'm like that.
Man.
I'm like that. Got to see those numbers because it's like, I'm doing damage, you know?
Yeah. And that's how you tell, hey, I used to hit this guy for 5, now I'm hitting him for 45. Or when you hit a powerful, so you start swinging your blades or whatever, triangle, circle, doing different combinations. And then you come up with toward the end of the combo, it's a power blow. Boom! You might hit them for, like, my insect glaive will hit for 35, and then when it hits a hard one, to hit for 120 or something. So that's a big deal. So you can know when these special moves are. Like Clear's got the dual blade. He doesn't have, quote, as much attack power as me, but he probably does more DPS because he's just swinging them all the time. So what I'm getting at is your play style. So that's what you just got to figure out. And so, like, if you don't like sharpening your blades, use a bow and arrow. But that comes with its own problems. You got to have certain arrow coatings or ammo for your gun or whatever. So the weapons are one way. The armor. So one of the just key. I mean, pretty much the game. There's a story which we'll get into in a second, of course. But is you go hunt a big monster, or even small monsters, or like Clear said, catching bugs or whatever, and then you. After you find a new monster, you kill it, you go back to your smithy, your blacksmith, and see the armor that you can now create. So you have a helmet, breastplate, an arm piece, a waist piece, and legs, a greaves. So there's 5 different armors you can get. You can mix and match. And so each one will have a special ability, usually based on that monster. In other words, if you fight a monster that is, like thunder or a dragon that breathes fire, you're probably going to have some fire resistance on that armor, stuff like that. If it's like a Pookie is poison, so you're going to have a poison blade. You can use that same stuff to craft your weapon as well. And later on down the road, you start getting bonuses with your sets, such as weapons don't dull as fast, or unlimited certain arrows or something, or you can reload faster, stuff like that. So you get sets along with that bonus, and you get gems you can place into these things, so you can really fine-tune your character in the play style that you want to do.
And Hollywood actually just said something really good that I want to throw a disclaimer out there real quick. You are going to hear some weird names through this podcast, and Pookie is definitely one of them. So be prepared for some weird names. If you need an idea of what we're talking about, let us know. We'll throw up pictures on our Facebook page so you can see. We'll do that kind of stuff, show you the critters that we're talking about, because there's a ton of them. And they get crazier names. We've got one we call the B-52 because he literally works like a B-52.
My little girl was watching me play the game, and she's like, "What are you doing?" She's 3, and I said, "I'm going to hunt a Pookie." She said, oh, "That's a potty word, Pookie." Like, I guess it sounds like it, but it's not. And my son was like, "It sounds like it, but it's not." I said, "Yeah, we're all right," but it's funny. But that's that's what they hear. But it does sound something like something sometimes, But so I started playing this, and the story did not grip me at all, and I just kind of blasted through it. And it just didn't grip me because, personally, I'm not saying it's a bad story. I don't know. I didn't really keep up with it after a while because it didn't grip me, like I just said. But I don't really know why my guy is where he's at. I don't know the background of the world. And again, this may be something that had been explained before, and you're supposed to just know it. I actually went on YouTube and found it out, but during the deal, I didn't know anything it was. So I didn't really care about the character or who the girl is that runs with you. I mean, so I just kind of blasted through it. I just wanted to kill the monsters. That's the whole point of it. And I Ask Rev, I like story in a game, so I look for it. But just kind of like whatever. I'm just ready to go. And so that maybe that's a test. Maybe that's a good thing to say about the game, just because I didn't really care for the story. I'm not saying it's bad. I don't know. But you always kind of like the lore of these types of games. What do you think about the story?
So the story is, for me, the story is kind of lacking because it's just, we're chasing this monster to the new world because of the migration that's happening with all of them. And I don't remember the story that well, but...
Well, that'll tell you about it right there.
Yeah, because, I love stories. I love lore. You look at me with Destiny, the way I dove into it. With all the other games, I usually dive into it, the lore side. This one just doesn't have the lore to it. There is, but there's not. And it's just not... To me, it wasn't as encapsulating or as captivating. I'm sorry, let me say that right, or say the right word. It wasn't as captivating as some of the other stories because it's just it's nothing to draw you to that character, in my opinion. It was just, okay, we're here in this new world, let's kill these monsters, I read a story that was actually kind of funny and kind of, it was basically saying that Monster Hunter World is basically saying it's okay to go invade somebody's space and kill them. Because you are coming into the world where these monsters have been living. They've been living just fine. You come in and you start killing them. Why are you killing these monsters, And yeah, you can capture them for research and all that too, and do it the, what quote unquote, the more humane way. But, it's just kind of funny to hear that kind of thing happen from people out there that don't really understand. But it just wasn't something that grabs you because, one, like I said earlier, this is one complaint that I hear from a lot of people. The lips don't move with the words. It's just kind of off sync. And then two, when you go into some of the things, it doesn't always have voice to the accompanying text. So you just go in and you have to start reading. I'm not a reader, so I flew through it. I just was like, I'm not reading, I'll fly through it. I'll be fine. But what little bit of the story I did pick up from, I did enjoy. And I think, it goes back to the whole point of the game is to go hunt monsters. And boy, that's fun. Like I was talking about with the whole tracking system, tracking them with the scout flies. I really enjoy doing that, going in, finding a footprint, and then my scout flies start flying all over the place to go find another footprint or some droppings that the monster left behind, and you just start tracking it. And I actually like that part of the game more so than anything because once you go back and look at your little, they call it the ecological book that you have, when you go back and look at the book, you can find out so much about the monster, its weak points, what's it weak against, like what weapons, like what damage it's weak against, what items it's most likely to drop in its low rank mode and hard rank mode. It's got this whole list of stuff, and it's just a really awesome book. And you've got the ability to pull it out at any time. You just press the middle button on the PlayStation 4 controller, and it pops it up, and you can start going through the book right there in the middle of doing anything. It's great. I love that. It's just, I like having that companion part of it. I could leave all of the story behind if I had just that book to run around with. That to me is a lot of fun.
Yes, like you said, I kind of blasted through the story too, but you still got the gist of it because it does a good. And the highlight of the game is obviously killing the monsters, not the story. So they do a good job of when you kind of come back from a quest, you'll hear the girl say something like, "Oh, we need to go track, this monster and figure out what's going on in whatever land." So you kind of get that one-liner of giving you the gist of the story, and it kind of reminds you, "Okay, let me go do that." And I got the Zora Magdara deal. This will contain probably some minor spoilers. I'll put that in the description. I don't want to spoil the game for you guys, but it's just some minor things.
Well, I also like about it too is you're talking about when you go back into town and everything, the heads up display. It's got a lot of great information on your screen when you're sitting there looking. When you're in town, you've got notifications that pop up, like what's your next quest in the top right hand corner. You've got some other little things going on there. When something happens, somebody sends you a guild card, which is basically their card that says what level they're at, their armor that they use, just a little basic information. You can actually scroll through it and see how many times they've killed certain monsters to see what they're proficient at. So you could actually team up with them to go take care of this monster. It's really cool for that side of it. The only downside is trying to team up to go fight with somebody can sometimes be a bit of a pain. Some of its social aspect of the game is lacking. But if you've got a group of people that you play with already, you don't really need that social aspect, because as long as you can get them in a small little squad and you've got the SOSs to respond to, you can have a blast with the game. I have a blast sometimes when I'm the only one on there, just going in there, responding and helping people with SOSs.
Yeah, that is a cool thing that they do.
I really like that feature.
So let's talk about the items and the crafting mechanic, and then we'll jump into the actual different types of missions and stuff you can do. But there is a whole separate crafting mechanic involved. This one's a lot simpler. I know in Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, you had your item box. Your chest would be slammed full of everything. And I think it even kept, this one breaks it up. Your items, you got material or whatever. It kind of breaks it up, craft, for whatever. But for ammo and all that. But your other one was just a big box. I mean, you had like 3 or 4 pages. And you had to go, do I have this item? And it was a lot bigger than just the little lines that you see on this one. It probably filled up the whole screen or half the screen with little boxes and stuff that you had to find the items in and scroll through and see if you had that actual item to craft something. And there was a lot of question marks on the crafting mechanic, and you just had to find one. Okay, pick it. I got it. If you had the items for it. And this one does it too. It didn't seem like you can craft as much. Maybe I'm just used to it, or maybe I thought it was a lot more than it was before. Like, for example, if you have a herb, you find a herb out there in an expedition or anywhere out in the world, you can craft a potion out of that to heal you. They have an auto crafting deal now to where it'll automatically jump to a potion for you, so you don't have to go in your inventories, because a herb is good for nothing else and just makes potions. You find some honey out there in the world, you mix a potion and honey for a mega potion. So stuff like that. You build traps to capture the monster. Instead of kill it, you can capture it, and of course you get more loot from that. Research points, the whole thing, as Clear was saying, to get more information on that monster. There's bombs that a lot of people can use, barrel bombs. You set down, there's slinger ammo. I don't know if you craft that. You find that out in the wild.
Yeah, you find that out in the wild. I use slinger ammo a lot. I use slinger ammo a lot, being a dual bladist, because it allows me a chance to back off. And the thing with slinger ammo is you find it either laying on the ground or it's drops from the monster, depending on the monster.
Yeah, so he uses slinger ammo to try to. And let me give you an example right here. It's good for us to team up, because for our weapon choices, he's got the dual blades. I got the insect glaive. So the insect glaive, you kind of pole vault into the air and fly around that way. So if we fight a flying monster, a flying dragon, Clear, it's harder for Clear to hit. He has to hit it with some type of slinger ammo, whether that be a flash bomb to knock it out of the sky, hit it in the head with something. It falls out of the sky. I like it when it's in the air. I just fly around and tear it up, and it can't really do anything to me. And so that's a good thing for me. But on another, like Odegarin, that moves around real quick and he's low to the ground, it's harder for me to hit him. Have to change up my style. It's easier for Clear. Or something like Diablo. I cannot stand Diablo. I looked online to see if there's a petition to get rid of that creature from the game, because I can't stand him.
You are not the only one that says that. A lot of people hate it. I've gotten to where I don't mind Diablos, just because I've learned that if I catch him as he's going into the sand, I can sit there and just waylay him until he's all the way in the sand. And the minute he goes in the sand, I just run like a madman. I mean, it's just a secret to, when you see that dirt trail, make sure you don't run in a straight line, otherwise he's going to pop you, because he only goes in a straight line. But if you start zigzagging, you're pretty much safe. Black Diablos he's a bit more of a pain. But yeah, but like Holly was saying, you've got to learn that style and that style of play. Like for me, it's up close and personal. The minute the dragon goes in the air, because it's always dragons that fly for me, the minute they go in the air, I don't have really much of a chance to hit them, so I have to go find something. Sometimes I have to go almost run a zone or two away to go find something, just because he'll be sitting there flying and he won't come down. And now I can climb up on things and jump off of things and try to ride them, but my riding ability is not as great as Hollywood's is. And with the insect glaive, he pretty much can pole vault onto the back of them at any time, and it's great because after a while he can actually knock them out of the air for me. So
the way that this game kind of works, like as Clear was saying, it's tough to team up sometimes because you can't just join a group when you start and then you just stay in a group. You have your town, which you're always going to be solo unless you're in the gathering hub, and then you'll be together. But when you sign on to the game, it gives you the option to start an online session, join an online session, or join a squad session. So we got an HK squad, so I just go to the squad session every time. If I'm the only one on, then nobody's going to join my game at random. So let me give you an example. If Clear is on and I post a quest, it'll show Clear. It'll say Hollywood Cole has posted a quest, or Lockie's my name on there, whatever. Lockie has posted a quest, and then he can join it at any time. If I fire an SOS or a flare in that mission, then anybody can join it. So if you just started an online session, then anybody can. You can kind of fine tune. Hey, I want hardcore players only. I don't want beginners. This level, whatever the case when you start it. And it'll just allow those people to join you. But anyway, that kind of stuff. And you can't go on an expedition. There's a way around it. I mean, to go on an expedition with somebody, you have to kind of do a different type of quest. And then once that quest is over, just everybody stays at camp, and then you can kind of run around. So the 4 different types of quests, you got a side quest. That's your main quest. You got optional, investigations, and then events. So events are on their own. Obviously it's just a special event. Investigation or stuff you can do. That's kind of what you're going to be doing in game most of the time. Optional, a lot of times. So there's more experience gained and money gained for the optional. But a lot of times, if you meet an NPC that wants a quest done, they'll give you a quest that'll be under your optional quest. Usually get an item or some sort of maybe a mantle or some more ingredients for your kitchen or for your canteen. Now you're going to eat before you go out to fight. Gives you boosts, stat boosts, and whatnot. So those are the 4 types, and when you post one, somebody in your, whatever, depending on the session you are in, somebody will see it and can join it if they want to. Otherwise, you're firing off an SOS.
Now, don't forget, there are expedition quests as well, but they're not ones that you can select. They're ones that happen throughout the storyline.
Yeah, that's right.
So there are a few expedition quests, but they're few and far between, and they're usually only limited to storyline, because they'll say, go out into the world and start tracking, basically it's like that. And then you'll find a monster, and then you'll come back to home base, and there'll be a quest for that now, or an assigned quest. So it's kind of weird.
I just wanted to clarify. So yeah, you go to a signpost and you post that quest, say, hey, go find Diablos in Wildspire Waste or whatever. Or like Clear saying, you can just walk out of the town and just go out and run around all you want to by yourself. There'll be monsters that pop up at random, or you can just be foraging or whatever the case. So you don't have to go. There's time limits associated with your actual quest expedition. There's no time limit. So yeah, thanks. I forgot to clarify that. So what else about it, man? I mean, it's kind of, so let's just kind of talk about, so this is where you're going to get to some minor spoilers. So I'll write this down.
Well, and one thing too to mention too, to touch back on the crafting, there's actually a whole another part once you get further along in the game called melding. I haven't messed with that any yet, but you can actually craft higher rarity pieces and parts there as well. So melding is actually going to be something that probably will start diving into more since we're hitting the higher ranks. And then also too, you have botanicals where you can actually grow your herbs. So you don't have to grab them out in the field. You can go, have them growing at your botanical research area and grow it for you. I grow flash bugs so I can have plenty of flash pods all the time.
Yeah, the melder's cool. You really need to get the different prints when you start killing tempered monsters later on this is way later. So let's go ahead and talk about the breakdown. Again, it's going to be minor spoilers here. So again, minor spoilers. So we're not going to get into the story, but we'll tell you about what's to come. So once you kill the final boss, I'll try to keep it as cool as possible. So you gain a monster hunter rank as you go along, killing certain beasts, and you'll get to 15 before you get to the final boss. And once you kill that final boss, everybody jumps to 29. It's so random. I don't know why they do that.
I've actually heard and saw that a few people did not jump to 29. So what I'm thinking that is they actually didn't do much of the optional quests and just ran slam through the story. And just did nothing but the story quest. Because technically what it is 15 is a soft level cap where all of the XP that you earned isn't
investigations,
all that stuff isn't equated until you hit 15. And then once you hit 15, you unlock the soft cap. Well, there's another soft cap at 29. You have to fight a specific quest there, and then that soft cap is released, and you actually have another dump of XP. Because I know when I hit 29, I just beat my quest at that point. I went to rank 36. I think Hollywood, you went higher than that.
Yeah, if I did, I think I went to 36 or 37. I don't know, but it just depends on. There's so many investigations to do that it's just. The optional quests are good. You can kind of see a light at the end of the tunnel there, but there's a ton of investigations, and they're not really in any particular order either. Like I got a level 9-star quest. That's where you get the tempered, and you just got to search through there, and you'll see blue stars. So because blue stars are low rank, so you're like, okay, whatever. I'm going back to low. Oh wait, no, there's a level 9 mixed in with it. It's just like, okay, whatever. So then I go kill the tempered monster. That's when you get the blueprints, and then you'll get to 49. And then you level cap again until you kill this other tempered monster. We won't get into that. And then your level cap is removed, and see what happens after that. I don't know. But what's the highest level guy you've seen run around? Not on YouTube, but you've run into.
The highest level guy that I actually played with was a 187.
That is some serious playing.
The highest that I've ever seen outside of game and everything. There is somebody that did level cap, which is the level cap is 999. Level 999. Wow. Now, granted, I think that they didn't use the most honest ways of hitting that, but I have seen some people that are around level 250 to 300, some streamers that pretty much have dedicated all of their streaming time to this game. So, there are people out there that have hit high ranks. But, the highest I've played with is like I said, like a 180s, somewhere in there I played with.
Well, the thing is, I'm a level 42 now, I think, or 43. And I got the best weapon for my class, Insect Glaive, that I want to use. Again, so first of all, let me clarify. There's not actually a best weapon as far as a bow or whatever. So your playstyle, there is a best weapon in class. But it's still a little bit... Up dependent upon you. If you want the best poison weapon or the best fire weapon or the best dragon weapon or just the best raw damage weapon, depending on your style, that's what you can get. But I got the best weapon for what I want it to use. So and the best armor that play style. So the only thing I can do is really upgrade my gems. But I guess what I'm getting at is, dude, you're playing with the same gear as you grind from 49 to 180. That's some serious grindage. Am I missing something? Is there more gears or different gear? Or?
Well, so based on your playstyle is based on what you're going to do. What some people do, and what I've been reading a lot of lately, is people are trying to build these elementless builds, where they're going in, getting the pieces and parts from these different armors that have no element status on them, and have no element status on their weapons. So now they can go in with a pure attack and go fight these monsters and give themselves a challenge. Well, also, too, on the other side of that is people that are getting their armor builds for each specific monster. So, like, each monster has weaknesses, and people are building an individual build for each monster. So, like, Hollywood was just speaking that he said that he got the quote-unquote best insect glaive that you can get. For him, that's the best insect glaive. For me, it might not be, because it might be in my playstyle to make sure that I have a poison damage insect glaive to fight this monster that is extremely weak to poison. You've got, monsters are weak to thunder, to dragon, to water, to fire, to blast, paralysis, stun. You've got all these ailments that you can have builds towards. And I know a lot of people that are doing that. They're building their builds toward having a stronger attack of that element so they can go in and attack this monster. a couple of the dragons there, they have just some crazy effects that happen to you. And I know people that are building their armor and going and collecting armor specific to be able to combat that, so they can go in and help other people. Now, they're not doing it so they can go beat monsters. They're doing it to help other people. That's what I think is awesome. So far, out of this community, I've found a lot of people are very friendly in this community. And there's a lot less toxicity in this community than some of the other games. So that makes this game a lot of fun, too. Because I know that I really just messed up somebody's game the other night. I was playing terrible, and this one dragon was just kicking my butt every time I turned around. And I fainted a couple times on this person's quest, and they had to redo their quest. I was like, man, I'm so sorry I screwed up your quest. They're like, no harm, no foul, no big deal. So it's a great community for all of that. But, you've got so many different paths you can go that the grinding out to level hunter rank 400 can actually be something fun, because you can build each individual weapon, because you can go through your weapon trees and there's this just ridiculously long list of weapons that you can build just for dual blades. There's several different types, and basically a dual blade to match every single large monster. And there are even some that match some of the small monsters too. So you can build all of those out, as well as armor that matches that, and you've got low rank, high rank armor, and when you hit high rank, you actually have alpha beta armor. So you've got this plethora of armor, of stuff to do, stuff to build, stuff to craft, stuff to meld, that you can go in so many different directions and really only touch half the game.
Yeah, so that's a good point about the feigning there. Forgot to cover that. So if you start a quest and an investigation, some of them only have you feint one time, some of them have 3 times, 5 times, whatever. Your average quest is going to have 3 times. That just means you lose your HP, you get knocked out. You faint, they cart you back to your camp and dump you off. All your buffs are gone. You got to kind of start from scratch to some degree as far as your buffs and health and stamina. But you take food and potions or whatever, or eat at the canteen to get your stamina maxed out and your HP maxed out. Also, attack up or element defense up. This whole plethora of different status you can do. So, if you go fight a tough monster, like I said, you shoot an SOS. Well, the monster grows a little bit in strength as well. It gets more HP and all this kind of stuff to make up for it. There's going to be a ton of damage. You have a little Palico cat that runs with you. Can help you buff or put down. I know Clear wants to talk about the Palico.
I saw something today that I got to talk about. It's hilarious.
All right, we'll talk about this. But, you have that. If it's just 2 people playing, you'll both have your Palicos. Once there's a third player that comes in for your game, you lose them. But so you're kind of rolling the dice. You can have up to 4 players when you shoot an SOS flare for a tough mob, because you might be doing okay. Maybe it's not killing it as fast as you want. So you shoot an SOS. Some guy gets in there, doesn't know what he's doing, and dies 3 times. You lost. You got to start all over. So just hope that they know what they're doing when they come in there. But you can really mess up somebody's game if you don't know what you're doing.
And the feint limit, something that I want to make sure people know, the feint limits that they have on the quest is 3 feints. It's not per person, it's for the entire quest.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you have 4 people drop in and 2 of them feint off of a one-shot hit from one of the monsters, you've only got 1 more feint left, and then that's game. You got to start over. So you got to be leery about that too.
And then just real quick about the monsters' activity. So this is kind of important to cover, and then we can get to the Palico. But the monster, they behave a certain way based on how much HP they have, based on if they're enraged or mad, and you have to observe these different movements in order to know where to back off or attack. And like I said earlier, you can capture them. You lay a trap down, they get caught in the trap, and you hit them with tranquilizer bombs, and then you've caught it. Or you can just beat it down and kill it, and then skin it, or so to speak, just carving pieces out of it. You don't get as many rewards. You still get a good amount, but you don't get as much. If you're looking for something rare, it's highly, highly recommended that you capture the monster. But anyway, as you're fighting it, you'll see it get tired. You'll see it kind of stand there for a minute, depending on the weapon you use. If you got a heavy weapon, they're going to get stunned, stuff like that. But it'll eventually try to limp off, usually. You can kill it before it limps, but if you see it limping off, it's capture ready. And it usually is going back to its nest to go to sleep. So you can capture that creature at that point, or plant bombs around it and blow it up, or whatever you want to do to get there. But as you are getting your investigation on by finding tracks and little things like mucus or something like that it might leave behind. As you're searching for it, you'll be able to upgrade your knowledge about that monster, and you'll kind of have little indicators on your mini map for instance, a skull. You'll know that monster is ready to capture. But before you get that investigation level built up, you won't know that skull. You really have to just watch that monster movement. So pretty cool to be that observant, and good communication, and that's always helpful with a group.
So on the Palicos, they're great, helpful. They're really helpful to you at times, and sometimes they're completely worthless. Like one time, this is one. I'm going to give you a worthless example and a heroic example. So the worthless example is one time I'm sitting here fighting a monster, and I notice my health is getting low, so I chug a max HP. And as I'm chugging a max HP, my little Palico goes, "Oh, here you go, boss. Here's you a Vigor Wasp. A Vigor Wasp heals you and ups your stamina all the way back to full." Well, I just took a max potion that did that, so that means I wasted a max potion. He wasted his Vigor Wasp, and now I have to wait even longer for him to help me out. So he just basically did nothing to help me in the fight. Now, a heroic one is I've actually watched a few videos on this. I've seen it in 2 different videos. So there's this thing that's called stun lock. Basically, when the monsters hit you and stun you to where you can't move. The only way that you can get out of that is wait for it to expire, the monster run over you, which 9 times out of 10, if you're stun locked, he's going to kill you off the next hit if he hits you while you're stun locked. Or you can have one of your teammates hit you. In a few videos I've seen recently, they've been called the heroic Palicos. It's been when a monster has stun locked your character, and your Palico out of nowhere comes running up and smacks the mess out of you, sends you flying back right as the monster's doing its major attack that's going to kill you. I've seen that in 2 separate videos, and it was perfect timing by the Palico that just literally, when the Palico hit the guy flew like 10 feet back in game distance, and flew just enough out of the way to not get affected by the damage from the blast attack that these monsters were doing. So Palicos can be extremely helpful if you level them up enough. And my Palicos, I feel like he's pretty high in level for Palico, but I guess he's just not smart enough in the fight times, because he just does some silly things. Now there's sometimes that they do some awesome things. I've seen my Palico run out a little cannon cart and just start blasting on whatever I'm fighting, and do some good damage. And I've seen my Palico even throw flash pods before out of nowhere, just dragons up in the air, and I'm like, I can't do anything. All of a sudden, a flash pod out of nowhere. I'm like, where did you hide that at? And now I'm able to go attack the monster. So a Palico can be very helpful for you when you're going it alone, and you're not really alone at that point. You're kind of like 1.5 players at that time, because like I said, it's very hit or miss on your Palico if he's going to be very helpful for you at that fight or not.
Yeah, so your Palico, you can develop their own individual armor and weapons, so they got different effects, like a slash effect, or blunt effect, or whatever. As you slash, you can sever stuff easier. Blunt, you can stun it, and then you got the blast, poison. They can do all that too. So you're just developing their armor and weapon for them, but you can also get them other support weapons. So he's saying the Vigor Wasp, so that just heals you. There's also I don't know what it's called, but it's like it plays a melody for you, so it can boost your attack, it can boost your defense, your element resistance, give you earplugs so you don't shake or whatever when or cover your ears and kind of lock up whenever the monster roars, or stun protection, whatever, depending on, again, how level up he is. My guy's running with a Plunder Blade right now, which is just a side quest.
The Plunder Blade, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a side quest. You just there's no way to tell. You're just running around an expedition, and there's like a little cat out there, and you have to do certain things. This one, you see other cats all the time, but this one's a unique one. You kind of got to listen up, and I don't want to give it away, but you can do certain things, and then they give you a Plunder Blade. What that does is it just basically just farms pieces of the monster off as you're fighting him. Gives you a little bit more rewards toward the end of the mission. So overall, man, I'm still enjoying the game. I just, like you said, it's just fun to get on there. There's something to be said, or I like getting on there and going and just schwacking some monster that was giving me a hard time before, and taking him out real quick and helping other people get leveled up, because you're really I think you're gonna really need the help, especially later on too. So getting everybody up to the same Monster Hunter level, or at least within one or two, is always a good thing to, especially for your squad. So they're not going to be much help. They can't even join a quest if they're level 9, and you're doing a level 40 quest or whatever. Obviously, the more help, the better. So it's in the communication, the more you fight together. It's just kind of the weird thing, the more you fight together, the better you're going to learn each other's moves and this kind of stuff, so you'll be more effective. And I'm hoping that it gets very difficult to where you really have to concentrate on what you're doing to get farther. So far it's not been too difficult. I don't think the difficulty factor, once you learn the controls and stuff, is too bad at all. Well,
the Tempereds are going to start giving us a little more challenge, because they do things a little different. They do have a lot more HP, and they're tougher bosses. And then, too, with the DLCs that are coming out, the one that I know of right now that's been announced is another monster that they're going to release, and they call it, I'll try to say the name and I'll spell it. It's Devil Jeho. It's Devil and then JHO. And basically people have already dubbed it the T-Rex pickle, because it looks like just this long, it's green, looks like a big old angry pickle with arms and nasty teeth coming out of it. And so that's going to be coming out, and from the rumblings that I get, that's going to actually present a pretty big challenge to the players.
That's good. I hope they release just new monsters every so often and make it difficult. So what this means to us, at least for me, what I'm focused on is like, man, I can't wait to see what the armor looks like, what the armor perks are going to be.
Me too.
What the weapon perks, maybe it's this new charm or something. See, this is the kind of stuff you think about when you fight a new creature. It's just so much fun to kill him, and then you feel a sense of accomplishment too, because you've learned what you learned, that monster's traits or whatever, and been able to kill it or capture it, and then go see what rewards you're going to get as far as armor upgrades and stuff. So of course you got your armor class AC and stuff like that too, not just the perks. So the harder enemy is going to give you more defense, raw defense too. But yeah, man, I really I don't know how long I'm going to play it. I'm still enjoying it. I'm playing as long as I enjoy it. And I originally planned on playing it until Red Dead Redemption 2 came out. I don't know if I'm going to keep it that long. That's a long time.
Yeah, you
Was
will.
it October?
Yeah, you will. You'll play it.
I'll keep it. Was it October, right? Where Red Dead
October 26th, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere right in that area.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to that one. But anyway, man, any final thoughts on that?
It's a fantastic game. If you don't have it, go out and get it and play it. You want to come play with us, hit us up on Facebook, and we'll get you an invite to the H&K squad and get you to play in there. The good thing about squads is you can be a member of up to 8 squads, so you don't have to worry about who you're teaming up with. So, come join us. We'll help you out. Like I said, you've got a level 36 and a level 42-ish that we're right here with, and I play with a couple other squads as well whenever I can't get on with Hollywood and some of our other guys. So
yeah, we'll certainly help you out. I like helping.
I love this game. Is so much fun in helping, because it's like you get to help somebody, and if they're on the headsets with you, you can actually explain to them, okay, look, this monster is going to do this, this, and this. Be prepared for it, and when it does this, this, and this, either roll or Superman dive, and you're good to go. Yeah,
and it's not going to be a quick go in there and take them out. And obviously when you get stronger you can, but the first time you face a monster, you're going to be prepared for about 15 minutes or so. They have cut it down. I remember on the old ones where you would fight for the full. You didn't want to play anymore because you're like, I don't feel like spending 45 minutes just to kill this one monster, or failing and then I didn't get anywhere. But they've cut it back, which is, you can kill 3 monsters in 30 minutes. I killed a tempered Raytheon, a regular B-52, and a Legiana, whatever that little snowbird or whatever, Legiana, in like 30 minutes max. It wasn't too bad. And then it's a tempered Dareth I keep fighting, and he's real easy. I'm sure, like tempered Rathalos, the big dragon, not looking forward to that one. Tempered Diablos, I will probably just not even do it. Just I hate
I'll
it.
drag you through that one. I'm
gonna have to.
I'll call our buddies from the other squad and get them up and help us drag through that one because
it'll be doable. But I just want to have some good company doing that one because I'm going to get frustrated.
Yeah.
I do not like Diablos. So all right, well, let's go ahead and do the winner of the SNES Mini. Finally done with this thing.
Let's see who gets this thing.
I got the entire names, thousands of names here.
Just thank y'all for taking the time to liking comments, posting on comments. You know, it was fun to go to pull all the entries in because I actually got to go back through again and read comments on the on all the posts and everything and see what people are liking. So it kind of helps us as well too to kind of gauge what y'all like seeing and trying to give you more of what you want to see and less of what you don't too. So thank you very much. So thank you very much for that. It's a lot more useful than just getting you a SNES Mini. It helps us to get you content that you like to see more versus just the random smatterings of stuff that we put up.
Absolutely, and I love reading the comments. I like seeing people share it with other people. I like interacting with you guys. I commented on a few of them, and people would come back and share their video game experiences, their collections, and just their stories on the SNES, which is always a fun thing, kind of like exactly what we're doing now, just to have fun reminiscing on this kind of stuff. So I'm going to put the random number generator all the way up to 4,817 to 0, and we're going to do this right now. Random number generator on Google, very simple. Minimum 1, max 4, 8, 17. All right, here we go. Let's roll the dice. 2,882. Let's see who that is. 2882. It's gonna take a minute to finally scroll up to there. 2882. Let's see what the name's gonna be. I'm excited.
I am too. I'm like twitching over here. I'm like, who?
Oh my gosh, this guy. I don't see his name anywhere else. I don't know how many entries he has, but Osvaldo Nevarez. Congratulations.
He must have been only on the contest post because he was not in any of the ones that I went through.
Yeah, he must have been when I was recording. So, congratulations, Osvaldo Nevarez. I will get in touch with you on. Hopefully, you like the page, and you'll be very easy to find. Otherwise, it's gonna.
Otherwise, we're gonna
be too much fun.
We're gonna spin again.
No, I'll dig around in there if you didn't like the page and find you, and send you a message or something on Facebook and ask you where you want it sent, and we will send it right away, man. So thanks for playing. Thank everybody for playing.
Yeah, thank y'all guys.
And this is crazy. I don't know if he's entered another one. We just kind of, as we saw him pop up, we would put him on there. So if he only has one entry, man, that's hilarious.
That's impressive too. I mean, that shows you the power of just entering if he only had one.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. So, but anyway, again, thanks for playing, and guys, keep listening because we are always going to be doing these contests. We do this podcast because we really enjoy gaming, obviously. I enjoy the camaraderie we get from other gamers. I like to geek out. I like to meet people on Twitter, on Facebook, and stuff like that. So we want to share that love, man, for gaming with other people. So, dude, I'm dropping hints on free games all the time. We're going to be dropping new contests coming out, just like this SNES Mini contest. We're thinking something like a Switch next time or something, so it'll be even bigger. We don't know exactly what we're going to do, but we want it to be bigger. The SNES was a great starter contest because you don't need anything else. You just plug it up and play, man. It just kind of shows you. That's my favorite system, the SNES. I think it's probably clears, or maybe Sega, but
no, I mean the SNES is going to be up there for me. It's going to be in my top 2, so. I got way too many good memories on that system.
Yeah, great system. But anyway, guys, yeah, keep listening and watch out for these contests. And we hope you guys are enjoying this as much as we are. And I guess we'll call that good, man.
Sounds good. You guys, take care. Listen.